welcome.
Welcome.
And if you can introduce yourself?
Hello, I am Joel Elliott, artist named Jumpin Joel Flash. Lovely to be here. Thanks for having me, Kevin.
I appreciate it. So can you start off by talking about like your musical origins?
Origins.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so I'm in my 5th decade of life, which is something I can say now. I turned 40 last year, and when I was 20, I was like, yo, I got to be in a band. I was in college, and I just went on the online. This was before Facebook, so I found a blog. It was called The Ottawa Musician.
Okay.
And some dudes were looking for a singer for their classic rock band.
Yeah.
And that was my jam back then. So it's like, yeah, I'm in. I went down to audition, and I played with them for 10 years.
But like you were always a good singer, I guess, like growing up then, yeah?
I didn't really know. Like, I had played trumpet in the band, and that was like how I learned music, right? To read and to perform and being part of a group and making sounds together. But I'd only ever sung like in the car or like in the shower. And then I sort of figured, okay, I can hit these notes that I'm singing along to on the radio, so maybe it'll sound right. But I'd never sung into like a microphone. The first time I'd ever used a mic was going down to audition for that band. But they dug what I did. They're all 20 years my senior, and they just said, yeah, you can join. And so I played with them for 10 years, and it was glorious. A lot of Allman Brothers, a lot of Steely Dan. We covered Abbey Road from front to back.
Okay.
Lots of fun.
Cool.
Of fun, yeah.
And so how did it progress? Maybe I should ask first. So did it go Jumpin Joel Flash first and then the Magic Machine, or how do those things connect to each other?
So I've always been a Stones fan, so I took the name Jumpin Joel Flash for my email address.
Okay.
And then when I decided, I'm going to go out there and try and play some guitar on my own and, just hit the stage, I decided to take that name so I didn't have to change my email address. And then it's because I'm a lazy dude, and it stuck. The Magic Machine was something that came about after I was playing with other people, and I realized that experience of playing with that first band, the classic rock group, which was between 8 and 10 people depending on the gig.
Wow,
I much prefer playing with people. I have a lot more fun when everybody's got a chance to shine, and you're switching off lead vocals and that type of thing. So I formed a band after doing a theater production in 2016. And realizing, like, whoa, these theater folk can really harmonize,
What do you mean by like doing a theater production? Like you were a participant, or you wrote? What do you mean by that?
Well, it actually ended up being both. So in 2016, I auditioned for a theater production called My Fair Zombie, which is My Fair Lady with zombies. So exactly what it sounds like.
Yeah.
And it was much fun. I liked it, but I didn't like the acting as much as I liked the singing. So the director of it came to me, says, okay, I'm writing a whole new play, another satire called Phantom of the Opry, which Phantom of the Opera in an Opry house, country music essentially. Okay. I said, I don't want to be in it. I want to be in the band. So I wrote the score to it.
Oh, okay.
And I just sort of fell in love with like silly-ish songs, like performed well, and the beautiful harmony that a bunch of choral voices can make.
Yeah, okay.
And I for theater, like I liked that theater is scripted, so you always know what you have to do. But that was also the thing I didn't like about it. Like you can't interact with the audience in the same way as you can with a band.
Yeah, okay,
You know
gotcha.
what I mean?
Yeah, okay.
So I tried to take the best of both worlds and jam them together, and that's what the Magic Machine's all about.
Are members of the Magic Machine from that production?
Yes. So I met Robin Hodge and Zoe Town, both of them actors, while doing My Fair Zombie, and asked them afterwards, like, "Yo, let's be in a band. Let's do it, gang."
Yeah.
And they were all for it. And then Jason Colson, who plays drums and keys in the Magic Machine, he played in the Phantom Band the following year.
Okay. Yeah.
So tapped him for that. And my wife is also in the band. Started as like a prop master, kind of visuals, like creating backdrops and such, but now plays ukulele, plays melodica, sings backup. It's a real weird hodgepodge. I love
So,
it.
so how did the band, like, I guess its first iteration, sorry, like what was it, and then how did it evolve to what it is today, I guess, or has it always been kind of similar?
Yeah, like the conceit of it has always been like, let's have fun, let's make something where everybody's got a chance to shine.
Yeah.
And like I am like writing most of the songs, but one of the best lessons I learned in that first band I was in was, you're the lead singer, but you're not the main event.
Yeah. Okay.
The band is the main event, and we as a group bring the show. And I love that philosophy. So the first iteration of the Magic Machine, before the panini that kept us all inside, we were about 8 people. So like we had bass, electric guitar, I'm an acoustic, keys, 2 singers, ukulele, drums. And after the panini, it's downsized to more acoustic feel with drums and keys.
Yeah.
And mostly just focusing on the vocals and the nonsense that we bring to the stage, as it were. We like the nonsense.
I'm confused though, because so you're Jumpin Joel Flash, and then it's called the Magic Machine, but sometimes I see it as Jumpin Joel Flash and the Magic Machine, or then sometimes it's called the Magic Machine.
Yeah. So the first go around, like we were like that. I decided that like that was the name of the first EP that we tossed out.
Okay. Yeah.
And it was kind of like I was thinking about it like Max Webster with Kim Mitchell type of thing. Like, am I the Kim Mitchell of this band? Is that me? That was pretty conceited, I guess. But afterwards, I realized, what? We don't need all that. I am Jumpin Joel Flash, sure, and that's my persona if I'm going out playing solo, which I do often.
Yeah.
But together, let's just roll with the Magic Machine, and we're working on a new EP to be releasing next year, and certainly that's what we'll be going for as we play out just Magic Machine, because it's more fun and succinct.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. Okay. Cool. What was the cause of the hiatus? I'm gonna guess it was a pandemic, maybe. I'm not sure. Okay.
The panini, yes. Well, I mean, like during that time, it was. Like, okay, well, before the panini, it was hard enough getting band together. Like, okay, we all agree in a day, but there's 8 of us, and like 2 of the members had kids, so it was kind of this, herding cats type situation.
Yes, totally.
Right?
Yeah.
We can practice when we can practice. Booking gigs kind of gets harder. Like, the bigger your act, the harder it is to book, right? Then when the pandemic hit, we just didn't see each other for 2 years.
Was there any contact betine members? And
yeah,
stuff?
lots of Zoom calls. Like we all became Zoom experts. I think everybody in the world became Zoom experts at the same time. But we're spread out all over the city. Like some of us are Central, Canada, Orleans. So it was tough.
Was there any attempts to, I guess, record any music during that time, or was it kind of like?
We had some shots at it. Tried it online. That doesn't work. Let's see who we can get together. But then things got dicey, and it was just trying to work with everybody's comfort levels and health levels, and hey, I got to protect my kids, kind of thing. And we just said, you know what? The art is there. It is in our brains. It's not going anywhere.
Yeah,
so
okay.
let's just pump the brakes for now, and come back to it. So eventually, we all came back to it. A few couldn't do her anymore, and that's cool.
Okay.
There'll always be magic in our hearts. In our hearts.
So I guess you kind of like brushed the dust off the old machine.
That's
and came back together. Yeah, and then I guess you've been practicing for the show on September 2nd. Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah.
So we practice in Orleans at our drummer's place. Jason, call him out. He's a good guy.
Yeah, okay.
And yeah, it's been really nice. It's like one of those like riding a bike kind of thing. Like we all came back and we got some new songs that we all worked out and some new silliness. And like what's interesting, because like I work in music as well, and I saw the same thing when I was talking to a lot of artists and so forth. People were all stuck inside. I think everybody thought when it all first started, like, oh, we have all the time in the world to create all the art in the world, but that's not how it works, right? We're all influenced by things we encounter in daily life and other human beings.
Like inspiration. I don't know
Exactly.
what to say.
So it's hard to like just sit inside for 2 years and like be inspired. I certainly had a hard time with it, but once it got back together and like the first few times we're just kind of noodling about and chilling and like hugging. We're a huggy band. We do a lot of hugging. It all just came back, and we all have the same sort of philosophy of we're doing this for fun. Let's have as much fun as possible. If it's not fun, then why do it?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Gotcha. Okay. What was it? Sorry, I had to consult my questions here for a second.
Oh my goodness.
For the Magic Machine, I often ask this question to people: is like, what is the songwriting machine? Like, how does it function? Like, do you like have like the idea first and you bring it to them, or do you, how does the seedling become the flower? I guess.
So I wrote most of the songs.
Yeah.
And it's a mix of tracks I've written back when I hated my job and like back in the day, I'd sit in my cube and just think of songs instead. Some songs from the Phantom soundtrack. And I would essentially write them on acoustic guitar, bring it in and say, should there be harmonies here? You know, and then we work together as a crew to sort of bring it to life. And that works really well. But going back to the philosophy of like, we all have something to share. Like, I'm a big proponent of, you got a song, let's play it. Like, is this song going to work for this band? Does that, like, you know, there's been songs that people have brought to the table. It's like, you try it, and it's like, that needs a heavier sound, you know, and then we sort of move on to a different track. But in the show we'll be playing on the 2nd, we're going to be showcasing a song by Zoe.
Yeah, okay.
A breakup song that's full of laughs and laughs and tears, you know. And certainly moving forward, I want as much creative, awesome from as many band members as possible. I think that's way more fun.
Is there I don't know how to say this, like, is there ever like a debate whether a song should like stay or go, or is it kind of like sort of obvious that like this is not really working?
Yeah, we've not hit that.
Okay.
Not really. No, like we've any song that's sort of brought to the table, and actually like tried out within practice, like we're gonna work on it, kind of thing. Like, this is working, let's do it. We've had songs where we share a Google Drive, as people do these days, right? It's like, okay, what about this? What about this? What about this? We typically kind of hone in on like, like I can hear harmonies here, or it's like, let's try XYZ breakdown in this particular track. And, you know, when you can feel people's group excitement like that, that's when you say like, okay, yeah, this has got some teeth.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
We also, because we're a smaller group now, before it was easier to fill time with like, okay, so this is a shorter song, let's add a solo here, right? Like, let's add some keys, let's add some this and that. I can't solo, I'm a rhythm guy. So now it's like, what kind of silliness can we add in here? Is this like where in one of our tracks, Jason the drummer plays Satan, and it's like, you know, okay, in this breakdown, Satan's just gonna cackle laugh for 8 bars.
Wait, this is a new track you're talking about that hasn't been released yet?
That's correct.
Okay, I haven't heard it. Okay. I don't recall hearing Satan on the EP. Like, all right.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Come on out here, Satan. But yeah, no. So I was like, yeah, let's add some theatrical nonsense, right? To keep people engaged. So it's like, okay, what part of the song can we get people in the audience doing like a dumb? There's another track from Phantom where it's called Sailing Away, and it's about the Phantom having kidnapped Chrissy, his love interest, and taking him to his sewer lair on a boat, right? So we're gonna get the audience like to do being rowing and like all kinds of like, you know, we're all about that interaction, especially if you're playing it live. It's a lot more fun.
Okay, so on the EP, when I'm listening to it, so I noticed that your voice is center, and then there's I guess Zoe's on one side, and I can't remember the others.
Robin.
It's like everybody's voice has their own like distinct sort of channel almost. Was there I guess like a inspiration for that, or like how did that come to be to create the mix that kind of way?
It was interesting because when like going back to the theater thing, I'd never done any theater before. I had no experience with it. And then just hearing how folks in the theater world think about harmonies. it kind of blew my mind because I was always thinking about in a band sense of like, okay, it's just got to be stacking on top of one another versus like let's create sort of
a chord almost.
yeah, a chord or I almost said a wall
Okay,
of
yeah,
sound, you know, like you know, like an experience sort of. So when we were mixing it, I'm going to call out my man Tev Sound, who recorded the EP for us.
Okay.
During the mixing process, he was sort of turning me on to a lot of these things, and I said, "Yeah, that just sounds like solid gold."
Yeah, it sounds really nice. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And it's interesting because the EP, as it sounds right now, like that's with mostly an 8-piece band, except for one track, which is just guitar and uke. We sound radically different now. Added more harmony through Jason, the drummer, and my wife Kim. So anyone who comes out is going to get an even more crazy, wild, different experience. It's going to be crazy.
What was I going to say? I lost my train of thought. When you're writing a song, are you writing it to process any kind of emotions, or is it more of like a fun thing for you to do, or like you know what I mean? Like
yeah. I've always had trouble with lyrics. Lyrics like are the hardest thing for me. I've always written like oh, I hear a beat in my head and I'm bubbling along. I used to work at a very boring office job.
Yeah.
And I did it for 10 years. And like typically it would be on the commute that I'd like start hearing songs in my head, on the bus in particular, just kind of the hum of the city and just kind of trying to block it out, and I'd start hearing a beat and maybe a word or two.
Yeah, okay.
But there was never any like emotion within the lyricism or anything like that.
Yeah, okay.
In fact, the easiest time I had writing songs was for Phantom and the theater scene, because I wasn't starting from sort of this nebulous, your song can be whatever you want it to be.
Yeah, okay,
It's
gotcha.
more like reading a script, and it's like, oh, I need a ballad here, and it's got to include this character, and he's got to be this emotion, and he's singing to so-and-so, and, you know, he's in the sewer. Like, so right away there's all these parameters, and I found that a lot easier for writing lyrics.
Okay.
Otherwise, I often, like, I'll write up maybe a V1 and then we'll be together practicing, and the band will be like, yo, let's try changing this to this, either for sound wise or because this makes more sense poetically. Okay. And I'm all for it. Like, change all the words. I don't care. Like,
have you ever had like writer's block at all?
I would say during the pandemic for sure.
Yeah.
But when it comes to kind of grooves and such, I've got a lot sort of in the back pocket. I find that as I've gotten older, I listen to less things when I'm either walking around or driving around or biking. Like, I'll bike to work and I'm just kind of humming to myself, finding beats and what sounds fun. That sort of increased. I used to host the open mic at Live on Elgin.
Okay.
And that increased exponentially when I was doing that, because
it increased the lack of writer's block, or writer's block is. Sorry, I misunderstood. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. It increased how much inspiration I
had.
Gotcha.
Okay.
And it was definitely because of the variety of stuff I was hearing. Right. Like, I think that, you know, anyone, like, you know, you like a certain type of music, we like what we like. You can kind of like sort of put yourself into a certain block of like, you're listening to XYZ and ABC and that's what you're listening to. But at the open mic, it was literally anything goes, had no idea what was coming at me any given night. Like, you know, you'd hear acoustic guitar, ballads, then hip hop, then maybe French hip hop, then like maybe metal, then like there was like piano songs in Mandarin. These two dudes came out and sang Bollywood tracks in Hindi one time. Like, so it was literally anything can go.
Yeah.
And as a result, like, I found myself inspired in big ways. Like, oh wow, I've never heard that beat before. It's like, oh my goodness, I didn't know you could make that sound, and boom, I'm inspired. Going back to like humans needing humans, you know?
Have you ever written songs that are like way off of what the Magic Machine is? And that you would never use for it, but like you sort of have in your back pocket somewhere.
Yeah. like a funk song, or like something that sounds just heavier. Like, ooh, like, you know.
Yeah.
They'll like, for example, I've written some songs where I knew right away I shouldn't sing this. Like, this should be this should be Zoe and Robin. Like, I didn't even know Zoe and Robin at the time, but it's like, this should be female voices, higher register singing this. And even now, I've got songs in my head where it's like, I don't want to sing that. This is a metal song. Why is this metal song in here? I don't know. But some metal band has to play this, not me. Someone else, please. But I think that's fun. You know, I'm not like I'm not a metalhead. I'm not a hip hop head, but I love being inspired by anything and everything people make in this city. There's so many talented I'm going to shout out all the talented artists in this city on both sides of the river. So much talent. Love it.
So I'm going to talk about a few of the songs off the EP. So not sure if this is intentional or not, but the song Rain, the first song off the album, there's like, I'm thinking it's a ukulele at the beginning.
Yeah.
I mean, on the video it shows ukulele playing, so I'm assuming that my ear was correct.
Yeah.
It sounds like it's almost like it's rain drops, bloop, bloop. And then maybe the guitar strums are a little bit of like puddles.
Oh, I love that you hear that in there.
Was that intentional, or is that's a coincidence?
The plink planks, definitely. My wife wrote that part on the uke, and it was definitely raining, and we were in our basement, and it's like, yo, I'm hearing the rain in this. The puddles from the guitar definitely didn't.
Actually, a little more abstract, I guess, that part. Yeah.
No, you know what? I did plan that all from the beginning. Absolutely, no. No, but it was that's a good example of like, this song shouldn't be heavier than this, you know?
Yeah.
You know, let's just sing a song about Wendy. Don't know where Wendy went, but, you know, we're screaming about her in the rain.
And there's a video for it, and you shot it at Live on Elgin, right?
Yeah. And our aim was to do it in one shot.
Yeah.
And we did, like, with some run umbrella dancing and silliness. It's the only video we have. We had some big plans again before the Panini ended a lot of those, but
it's funny when you first said the Panini the first time, I didn't know what you were talking about. Now I understand what you're talking about, guys.
Yeah, the delicious Panini that kept us inside. So yeah, we got more music videos coming, and again, I'm going to shout out the Ottawa scene for amazing videos. My wife and I were hosting on CKCU Monday Special Blend for some years. And whenever I was out looking for music, I tried to do a big mix, like, okay, what's happening, like, as opposed to just folk or just rock or whatever. So it was a nice mix. And in particular, the hip hop scene, like, the music videos are so high quality and legit from both sides of the river. So, you know, shout out Ottawa artists, very good.
It's pretty, like, just interviewing people. It's like a pool that never ends. It's like you just keep digging and you just find more and more things. It's like it.
And I've lived here my whole life. Have you?
Yeah, I mean, I grew up in Westboro. Yeah.
Oh, okay, so like in the past 10 years, I would say, and anyone like who's been here, like, I'd say it's gotten a lot more fun. Yeah. And I think a lot of that is haha, boomers retiring, but also but also like, we have the internet now, so artists of any stripe, of any type, of any genre, any language, like, they don't have to move to TO or Montreal or NYC or Van to have a career, right? Yeah. They can create what they want, stay in their hometown, and if they want to, you know, work with XYZ producer, they go down there, wherever they may be, work with them, come on back. Keeping creatives and making it easier for creatives to be creative here makes the town more fun. Yeah. So I'm all for it. Stick around, guys. Keep on being fun. Keep on being fun.
So for the song, for the video for Rain, how many takes did it take to get the one you wanted?
We did 3 takes.
Okay. Were any of them a disaster?
Well, I think one of them was, yeah. We picked the best one, and it was a matter of timing. Because, like, we only had so much time within Live on Elgin. Yeah. And the band came together. We had done a lot of rehearsal beforehand. And we also tried to do something that looked good. Like, we use umbrellas to go up and, like, kind of open and close. Yeah. For a nice visual. But that also wasn't too complicated. You know, we didn't want, you know, remember that OK Go video with the treadmills?
Yes, yeah.
Right? So that was my first thought. It's like, wow, those guys really pulled off like one one take kind of cool video. But that was, I'm like, I'm not jumping around on treadmills. I don't want to. I don't want to do that. Like, how can we use our kind of sleepy sound and song? And then we just brought umbrellas with the rain, and the dance came together.
Yeah, okay,
and it works. I suggest you all watch it.
I guess the part of the dance is the conflict, I guess, as well.
Yes. Yeah, like so that comes back to the sort of the silliness and theater of it. It's like we start off like, oh, this is a very serious looking band, and by the end of it you're like, no, these guys are morons. Like, what's going on? That's fun.
Okay, so in that song, you mentioned Wendy, and the next song is called Eleanor, which is also a woman's name. Mm-hmm. Hopefully I'm not getting too personal here.
No.
But are these real women? Are these placeholders for real women's names? Or are these fictional characters?
Fictional characters.
Okay, yeah.
Full on.
Yeah.
The rain, I think it definitely was just going back to what I was talking about before of like notes, right? So I heard like Wendy, like the notes are na na, and I heard that, so I was like, oh, this should be like some sort of lament. This should be maybe someone's name, 2 syllables, and Wendy came to me.
Yeah.
For Eleanor, I'm not sure where that came from, but again, it sounded like a love song, like, oh, I miss you, girl.
Yeah.
The running joke we have in the band is I was really dumb, and I said, wow, I think this is the first song ever written about Eleanor. My friend Zoe's like, yeah, well, remember the Beatles? I said, no one knows who that band is. I wasn't in a tribute band for them. Don't even worry about that. But yeah, no, there's no self-insertion on any of the tracks that I've written anyway.
Okay.
It's more like the music comes, then the lyrics are in, and it's like what fits the theme of this, and then we roll from there.
So would you say that you take melody takes priority over lyrical I mean, the idea is that when you have a melody written, you're going to make the words fit it rather than write the lyrics and make the lyrics make the melody fit the lyrics, right?
100%.
Yeah, okay.
And I know a lot of artists that either work the opposite of that, like they write poetry essentially, is what lyrics are, write prose, and then add some music to it, or like kind of write it in tandem. I'm always really impressed with artists that can, like, I'll read their lyrics. I'm like, oh my goodness, this is really profound. Like, how'd you write this? In particular, hip hop artists, because like, you know, I have a hard time writing like essentially 2 paragraphs, and they're writing entire novels to fit into 3.5.
There is a lot of content when you're rapping. You blow through words like crazy. Yeah.
Like that's wild to me. That's too much. It's too many words. But like for me, it's the melody definitely takes precedence, but the lyricism brings the song together. So that's why when I do sort of if I've written the track, I'll do a V1 of the lyrics, and I'll send it to the band and be like, okay, I don't like this line, I don't like this one, but this is like sort of the flow.
Yeah.
And then if we're going to change some lyrics, we find some that fits the same theme, but fits the same theme and the flow, but just sounds a little nicer or is a little more profound with a little bit of groupthink to find it, you know?
Like, but also sometimes like the words can be great, but they actually sound a little bit hard to come out of the mouth in a certain melody.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And sometimes that doesn't happen until you sing it like a few dozen times. You're like, you know what? That t sound or that p,
exactly.
it doesn't work there. Let's find something else that works and means the same thing.
Yeah, okay.
And that helps with the band, you know? Then all of a sudden you got 5 minds working on words instead of one. And that works.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, yeah. The song "My Love," there's a lot of doo-wop in that. But what was the inspiration for bringing the doo-wop in, or are you all just fans of doo-wop? Or
no, again, I think that was a track that I was on the bus, and I was just kind of like the melody's kind of do 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 do, and the song came together through that because I found like where it was on the guitar, but it was also very short. I thought, like, how do we extend this while also showcasing all the great harmonies that we have, and like just cutting out everything and going right into a cappella kind of breakdown, just made it more fun. And so that's how we rolled. I'm all about just like fun. This is fun. Let's do it.
Yeah, well, there's like it's sort of theatrical, but it's also folky. I guess that's sort of like your background of, I guess, of playing in bands and then being introduced to theater is kind of like mixing together. Is that how it kind of came together? I guess, yeah.
Yeah, like in my first band, like it was like classic rock covers, right?
Yeah.
So like we nailed them. Like they're awesome. Shouting Out Barrel House, actually, they're playing at Overflow. They reformed without me. It's fantastic. Go see them at Overflow Brewery, I think on the 15th. But,
Okay.
you know, like you're performing in a band, there's not much room for drama, right? So then after doing a couple of theatrical productions, I realized like, yo, you can add drama to the stage. You just got to find that nice middle, like, because it's, you know, seeing a band in a bar is like a different audience than a sit down soft seat theater where everyone's quiet and really paying attention.
Yeah.
So you have to really think about like if we're going to be doing some kind of like either audience interaction or theatrical nonsense, it's got to be just enough so that people don't get a little restless.
Yeah.
Or also like if it doesn't hit for whatever reason, like we've already moved on to something else. So yeah, I'm all about every track we play, let's add some kind of weirdness to make it fun. I think it also makes people like think like maybe I shouldn't leave, you know, like who knows what they'll do next. I should. I mean, you know, more fun that way.
Like the song Naughty Bits.
Yes.
I guess it was going to come up, but I mean, I really, I mean, I'm assuming this was intentional. I mean, based on the lyrics, I think this was intentional. Your shape has got me feeling like I'm ready to go. Like, soon I'm hardly breathing. And there's some pauses between some of those syllables.
Yeah, it's definitely innuendo. The song's about butts. It's what it's about. That track again, like it came together over the breakdown.
Over the breakdown.
So at a part where everything comes out and
Okay, sorry, okay.
and the lines, every time you turn around, honey, yes I know everything.
Oh yeah, in case you're, yeah, that's really cool part.
And I think that line just like came to me, and it's like, oh wow, every time you turn around, and then I realized I'm like, am I singing about butts? That's ridiculous, or is it? And then a song sort of came together, and you know, so we tried it, and then we were like, yo, this kind of rocks, and. I think it's pretty inclusive too, you know, like, so everybody's got naughty bits, no matter who you are. We like butts. There it is. It's a cheeky song. Ha ha ha. But it's also, anytime we played it, you know, people are slow dancing, they're cheering, and, you know, it's just kind of a feel good song about butts.
It feels very good. Yes.
Feels very good indeed. Yes, indeed. Actually, we haven't, like, that's a little harder, as you know, like, as you've heard. So we haven't actually done it as our new kind of acoustic team.
Okay.
I think we might try, but I might wait until we have a bassist. Anyway.
Oh, yeah, you haven't decided what your set list is going to be?
Oh, no. Yeah. We've got our set all nailed down, but
Okay.
Naughty Bits isn't in there.
Oh, okay,
it's more
gotcha.
like, okay, like, if we play more, when we play more, maybe we'd add a bassist. Maybe we play Naughty Bits then.
Oh, okay.
But we've also got a lot of new tunes in the hopper that, like, we just didn't add to this set list because we felt like, you know, these aren't quite ready yet.
Yeah, okay.
Still half baked. Wait till they're fully baked, and then we'll play them at the next show.
Because also, I should ask about the YouTube channel. So I'm going to read this out just because I did some research here.
Oh, please.
So you have a YouTube channel that has over 200 videos. It was started 7 years ago. Many of them are covers. You got covers from, these are just like a small like pick of the many different covers you've done. Destiny's Child, Barry White, Queen, The Beatles, Weird Al, Disney covers, Our Lady Peace, Avril Lavigne, The Simpsons, the B Sharps, Baby on Board, Sum 41, CCR. What has inspired you to do so many different covers?
When I quit my job,
Yeah.
because I didn't like it.
This is the theme I'm it was a pretty bad job.
Actually, it was a great job with great people. It just wasn't for me. I shouldn't have been working there for 10 years.
Yeah, okay.
I love my job now, but essentially right before the Panini, I was thinking, you know what? Like, if I want to get better, I should just like play. and learn how to edit video and learn how to do this and learn how to record. So I challenged myself to put out a video a week.
Yeah.
Not with the intent of making it viral or anything. More like, okay, here on my YouTube channel is like this depository for all of these, and I'll share them with my friends, and like essentially I'll get better. When I was in the classic rock cover band, like we practiced weekly, and it was like for 10 years.
And you're only singing then, I guess, too, right? Or were you playing guitar?
I was just a singer.
Okay, good.
Just a singer in that band. Occasionally trumpet, but like my embouchure is all gone, so I can't play trumpet anymore. But so practicing that often, like you kept your chops up essentially.
Yeah.
And when I wasn't playing as much, I realized like, I mean, I can play at home by myself, but if I don't have any direction, then it's like I didn't want to practice as much. So challenging myself to a video a week kept up those chops, and I learned a lot about how YouTube works and how this works and that works and editing and blah blah blah. I'm not like some expert, but some skills, right? I know how to set up a microphone now. I can fiddle about with things like this. I know how to edit the audio afterwards, and it was fun. Essentially, like playing a bunch of songs that I like, and I could sort of half-ass nail, I guess. The last year that I did it, I challenged like all CanCon, so it'll be nothing but Canadian content for the year.
Okay.
So like sometimes it got weird, like there was like Prozac in there, some Alanis covers,
Prozac,
some 41 definitely. Took like I took requests from people like, okay, what's some weird Canadian content that I can toss out there? It was great. I had lots of fun doing it. I learned a bunch of chords that I didn't know existed, and and now they're up there. And it's sort of like it's done exactly what I wanted it to do. Now there's a bunch of content on that channel.
Yeah.
And then when we put up that first video, it wasn't just sort of like a blank slate.
Yeah.
The idea is, and this is my marketing background coming out, it's like, okay, yeah, you found our music video. This is the only video we have, but check out all these other dumb videos. Why not stick around and then maybe come see us play,
Yeah, okay, cool. Was there any songs that you attempted to do that were just impossible, or like?
Oh yeah, like I wanted to do way more David Bowie, and then you'd like look up the chords. I'm like, well, I mean, do these chords chords exist? Yes, they do. But
oh wow, okay, crazy, okay. Well, what about like a vocal range? Like do you know how wide your vocal range is?
I don't. I had it pegged at like 3.5 octaves.
Okay, that's pretty
point.
wide. Okay.
But
that sounds like there's not a lot of challenges in terms of singing songs. Then,
yeah, and again, actually, that goes back to the classic rock band, right? Because like we did a lot of Allman Brothers, which is a lot of low register, but then like we covered Abbey Road from front to back, and a lot of Beatles tracks are just way up there. Like Paul McCartney's just way up there. Same with some Steely Dan songs, and then some other just random songs that we would play. So it was this constant kind of challenge. It was like, oh crap, well I can't hit that now. I'm going to have to practice until I do, trial by fire.
Yeah.
And now I can sing a bunch of stuff. It's great. I would say again, David Bowie hurt. I was like, Life on Mars is the track that I wanted to play.
Yeah.
And I couldn't play the chords, and I couldn't nail the vocals. So David Bowie. There it is.
David Bowie.
Couldn't do it.
He's the bane of your existence.
The bane of my existence. I'd probably toss some Queen tracks in there as well.
Yeah, okay. That sounds pretty...
very, very difficult.
Yeah, okay. I got you.
Very difficult.
Do you have like your all-time like favorite show that you've ever played?
Yeah, before the Panini, we played this small music festival in Finch called Barnstorm.
Okay.
And it's put on by Tick, who hosts the Wednesday Special Blend on CKCU. And it was the biggest show we played, and it got us real amped and hyped. And then that was like 2019, like right before things went south. But listening to the recording, actually, we just practiced last night, and the drummer had some recordings of the show, and it just was like, it's like, wow, we really nailed that. And
So there's a recording is it just like a live one mic, or is it like
no, live off the board. So
Oh,
it was like
wow,
it was
nice.
mixed and all like it
cool.
like, just sounds really great. The crowd was great. It's in a barn, right? So
Yeah.
like everybody had been crowded in. It was a big it was just really beautiful. That's the one that really stands out for me with the Magic Machine for sure. The other one I'd say, and it was actually more of a humbling experience, we played Chesterville a couple, like maybe the year prior, and we played the show. It was pretty good, but that's not what we all remember about it. We were standing backstage, like, which was just essentially the street in Chesterville, because that's where the stage was set up, and just kind of like talking, all right, that was a pretty good show, guys. All right, congratulating this local teen. He rolls in and he says, hey guys, great show. And I turn and I say, hey, thanks, man. I'm glad you loved it. Without skipping a beat, he goes, I didn't say I loved it. It's like, and then he walked away. So we always bring that up as like, you know what? He kept us humble. We're not going to get too big in our heads, thanks to that local Chesterville teen who really burned us.
he took exception about how you phrased his enjoyment of it.
That's
basically.
correct. He only had a certain amount of like for it, not love.
It was great, but I didn't love it.
That's it.
It's like,
all right. So we remember that, not the gig of Chesterville, the Chesterville teen, and we remember Barnstorm. And that's where we set our bar. Actually, after that, I'd say to people like, yo, you need like, if you ever feel like you're getting too big for your britches, just get the local Chesterville teen to follow you around and tell you everything you're doing wrong. The show wasn't that good. Here's why, like, oh boy.
Do you experience stage fright?
Not anymore.
Did you used to, I guess, and you got over it somehow? What's the story with that?
Yeah, so so first time ever being on stage, it would be like middle school band, right? Like, so I got my trumpet, I'm with like 100 other kids.
Yeah.
There's no stage fright. You're with everybody else, no problem. But the first time, the very first gig I ever played with a classic rock band, I was terrified. So I had to wear sunglasses and just close my eyes.
Sunglasses and close your eyes both. Wow.
Yeah. So like, I didn't want anybody to see me closing my eyes, so I put on sunglasses.
Okay.
So this guy must be cool. I was not cool. I was terrified. I'm still not cool, but like, it's just like anything else though. Like, after a while, you do it over and over and over and over and over and over again, and just, all right, let's go out there and get it done. I also wear glasses, so like, my sight isn't terrible, but you get up on stage and there's lights, and all of a sudden the crowd's blurry. It's like, oh well, I don't know how many people are here. Let's just have at it.
So you prefer not to quite know exactly what's going on in the crowd?
Yeah,
as you play.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I'd like the crowd big and paying attention.
Yeah.
But like, I'm just gonna try and like not look at people, look over people. But as far as being scared, like, it's not anymore.
I also hear like stand-up comedians, when they see the crowd and they're not paying attention, it bothers them. So maybe it's better just to like not know if they're paying attention or not.
Ooh. That's like, to me, like, stand-up is like the most terrifying kind of state. Like, I can hide behind a guitar, or like singing or a band, but like, stand-up's just got the mic, and
it's a lot more naked.
that's terrifying. But I've seen so much good stand-up. There's a lot of good stand-up in this town too. Great work, guys. Great work, Ottawa.
Definitely. Do you have any rituals before going on stage, or has anybody in the Magic Machine have any kind of rituals before like going on stage, or just kind of show up, or just
no, I don't think so. It's cheesy, but like, I'm all about like teamwork makes the dream work type stuff, right?
Yeah, okay.
Like, so before we go on, it's all like, just, hey, we're gonna nail it, guys. We are all so awesome, and like, hugs and like, go teams, and away you go. As far as rituals, no. I drink a lot of coffee. I don't drink like alcohol. So if we're playing a later show, it's got to be like, okay, I got to be amped up on caffeine so I don't fall asleep. And like, you got to be kind of energetic for 45. So yeah, I'm definitely drinking a lot of coffee. Maybe that's my ritual.
Okay.
Drink coffee.
I also forgot to ask when I was asking the origins of the Jumping Joel Flash. What's the origins of the Magic Machine? What's the?
That was on a T-shirt I bought at Value Village back in like
Wow.
late 2000s.
Yeah.
And just said Magic Machine, and there was like this star on it, kind of like the more you know kind of star.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, and I was like, well, this T-shirt's perfect. I'm buying it. And then I just wore it, and then later on, when I needed a band name, I was like, what are we gonna call ourselves? And the T-shirt was there. I'm like, there it is. I did a bit of googling to make sure. Like, nope, no one else is called that in Canada. Well, whatever. It's in southern states somewhere. That's fine.
Did it come from? Did you find its origins, or just like anybody use it in the United States? Though.
You know, I tried to I even did like the Google image search on the Magic Machine shirt itself. Like maybe it's a logo of something. I have no idea what it's all about. So I did find it in an Ottawa Value Village though. So maybe it's like an old ball team, or maybe it's like, you know, who knows? But as a band name, it works because I think it kind of sounds theatrical and dramatic, but also like people are like, what the hell is that? So they'll come out and see it. Not as good as I don't know if they're still around, but an Ottawa band called Rainbow Pony Power, and they were kind of new metal, I guess, maybe punk.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know what they were all about, but I was like, well, I'm going to see it. I'm going to see Rainbow Pony Power.
It reminds me of Rainbow Butt Monkeys.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd go see that too. What's that? Who cares? Let's go.
It sounds interesting. This is my first time actually doing this, but I'm gonna like promote a show because like otherwise I just kind of like do an interview and then like sometimes I can get it to line up with a show. But so do I say the Magic Machine or do I say Jumpin Joel Flash and the Magic Machine?
No, just Magic Machine.
Okay, so I remove Jumpin Joel Flash from everything.
I am there, but you know.
You're in brackets now. You're not.
Yeah, brackets.
So the Magic Machine featuring Elmer Jules. I don't know much about him. Do you know anything about him?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Almir has the voice of an angel for
Okay.
one thing. I first saw him down at the Live in Elgin open mic. He's a delight.
Okay.
Singer-songwriter. I know he plays with a band occasionally, but like he rips it apart solo. So he'll be opening up for us.
Okay.
He'll break everyone's hearts because that's how he rolls. That's how he rolls. And then up we'll go. We're at Irene's.
Yeah.
On Bank Street, and it's actually nice because we had booked a show at Irene's and we were set to play April 2020.
Oh man.
Yeah.
It's poetic.
Yeah, so we were quite jazzed that we were able to come on back and actually play there because I've never played Irene's aside from an open mic or two.
Oh, cool.
So
Awesome.
very excited.
Yeah, so Irene's Pub on Bank Street, Saturday, September 2nd. Doors at 8:30, show at 9 p.m. Yes. Well, thank you for your time and thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me, Kevin.
Awesome.